70 years ago this week, WBRZ went on the air. And over the years, many anchormen and women sat at the anchor desk to report on the big stories that impacted your lives. And there was one anchorman who set the standard during what some have called the golden age of Baton Rouge broadcasting. We knew him as the Duke, or Mahaff. Let's look back at the career and the impact of John Mahaffey, the face of WBRZ News for 20 years.
He was kind of the glue that held everything together.
He befriended anybody and everybody.
He was larger than life. John Mahaffey anchored at WBRZ for more than 20 years, where he earned the reputation as the Walter Cronkite of Baton Rouge News.
He was a legend. He really was. He had that quality that was very special that you can't teach. I mean, he lit up when that camera light went on. He was all there, 100%.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
News was in John's blood. His father was a longtime newspaperman in Texas. John began his television career in Texarkana, where he worked his way up to the anchor desk.
I remember I started out in this business. I was a studio cameraman, then I was a director, then I was a film editor, then I wrote commercials, but I always had to be in TV.
And he came through that TV. John loved people, and people loved him. He cherished the relationships with the public and viewers who tuned into WBRZ each night. He told us the secret to his anchor success was simple.
Someone asked me one time, what was the best advice in TV that you ever received? And I recall it was a little program director from Minnesota who told me one time, he said, when you're announcing or projecting on television, Mahaffey, try to pretend it's one-on-one. You're not talking to 60,000 people. You're talking to one person. I'll never forget that.
He was one of us, and the television camera loved him. When he looked at the camera, people saw not a TV anchor, stiff kind of person. They saw a nice guy who could have lived next door that they see in shopping centers, and he was very approachable, down to earth.
How do local assemblies of God minister?
And he covered the big stories, including one in the 1960s that really hit close to home.
But the top story for me was the Charlie Whitman sniper incident in the tower at the University of Texas. It meant a lot to me because I could only think that the killing ground where it occurred was where I had walked 6 months before. You don't forget something like that.
Through his calm leadership and fierce loyalty, John helped guide the WBRZ News team to excellence during what many called the golden age of Baton Rouge television news.
He adapted through all of those changes, split screens and live shots coming and going, and producers talking to him in his earpiece, and he just was John Mahaffey, and he sat there and made it happen.
One of his favorite stories and proudest moments came in 1999 when he traveled to Texarkana, Texas, to interview his dad, who was then in his 90s. And who could forget this interchange at the Texas-Arkansas state line?
I'm J.Q. Mahaffey, and I'm in Texarkana, Arkansas, Miller County, where you can buy liquor if you want to.
And I'm John Mahaffey. I'm standing in Texarkana, Texas, in Bowie County, and you can't buy liquor here.
John Mahaffey passed away in 2016, remembered as a legendary journalist, the glue that held everything together, and as a loyal friend.
In the opening lines of his alma mater at the University of Texas in Austin, the eyes of Texas are upon you all the livelong day. The eyes of all of us are upon you, John. We won't let your memory fade away.
Tomorrow, someone who anchored with John Mahaffey and inspired a new generation of women to go into journalism and broadcasting. We'll catch up with Andrea Clessy as we continue celebrating WBRZ, 70 years locally owned, locally loved.